Dear learners, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Abhishek Ghai, working as Assistant Professor at University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. I would be taking module on food and wine under the paper Food and Beverage Service, Operations and Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to learn about the guidelines for pairing wine and food, various combinations of wine and food. First of all, I'll just introduce about the topic food and wine combination. Today there are diverse styles of wines available in the market as compared to 30 years ago. Since many new countries with the expertise in modern techniques of winemaking and the new blends of grapes have joined the band of winemaking countries, there is no shortage of advice on what to drink with what. On the contrary, there is a surplus of it. The most familiar exhortation is that you should drink white wine with white meat or fish and red wine with red meat, and this is all right as far as it is goes. But it does not leave much scope of imagination. Many varieties of wine, red, white and rosé, are sufficiently adaptable to be able to bypass this particular precept. In fact, none of the conventions about pairing wine and food is completely inflexible. On the other hand, there is not much point in setting out to kick convention in the teeth for the sake of non-conformity. A man who insists on serving new St. George's with Sol Bonne Femme or Muscadet with Bomb Surprise is likely to find himself out on a limb. The conventional patterns for wine and food pairing make good sense and provide a workable framework for a successful civilized meal. There is also an extensive range of dishes, from traditional to fusion cuisines, that are available. Today's consumers have become more adventurous and crave for a variety of tastes. With the availability of so many types of wines and dishes, it may appear easy to match the wine and with the food, but it is not so. In fact, it is a challenging task. The food and wine world is changing at a faster rate, and so are traditional rules. The traditional rules provide a workable framework and help in selecting and suggesting the wine for a good meal experience even in the present times. Before I go into detail onto how to select a right wine for a dish, let us understand the traditional rules that are shaped out of experience. Like the aperitif, which is served before the meal to stimulate the appetite, should be dry and preferably wine based. If the wines are to be accompany the meal, sweet alcoholic drinks will be a bad choice for aperitif, as they mask the palate and suppress the appetite. The starter courses are best served with dry white or dry rosé wines. National dishes of a country are recommended with the wines of that country. For example, pastas can be served with Italian red wines. Shellfish and fish dishes are served with dry white wines. Light reds may be swamped by very pronounced food flavors. They are at their best with unassuming flavors. Examples are veal, Plainly prepared lamb, roast chicken, and roast duck. Full bodied red wines may swamp subtle flavors in food. Their best place is with such robust dishes as roast beef, game, roast goose, and most kinds of casseroles made with red meat. Dry white wines are at home not only with fish dishes but also with most dishes that can accommodate a light red. One important consideration in choosing between a dry white and a light red is the nature of trimmings and vegetables that will accompany the dish. If a poultry dish, for example, has well seasoned stuffing or sauce or both, then alt, but the most firm bodied whites will knuckle under and a light red will be better. Examples of vegetable flavors which will be happier with a red than a white are turnips, artichokes, and red cabbage. Semi-dry white wines are mostly on good terms with anything fairly bland like chicken dishes served with white sauce and plain boiled rice. Rosé wines, if dry, can be substituted for dry whites and sweeter varieties for semi-dry whites. White meat like veal, pork are served with medium white wines. Red meat like lamb, mutton and beef go well with red wines. Game dishes need robust red wines to counter the heavy flavor of the dish. All the wines go well with cheese. Red wine suits the blue vein, hard and mild cheese. Medium white and rosé wines go well with cream cheese. Port is the traditional wine served with Stilton cheese. Sweet wines are offered with sweets and desserts. Brandy and liqueurs are served at the end of the meal. At the dining table, the customers should be allowed complete freedom to select their wines. What one selects for his/her food may not be appreciated by the connoisseur of wines, but it is advisable that the customer should not be made to feel that he/she has made a poor choice. It is his/her choice of wine and his/her taste, so make him/her enjoy the wine by extending good service. At times, the guest invite suggestions from the sommelier, who they think is the authority on wines, to recommend wines for their meal. The sommelier does not normally go wrong while suggesting wine with food, as he/she has a very sound knowledge on wines and their affinities about food. There are some guidelines for pairing wine and food, though the traditional rules prevent beginners from making a full selection of wine for their food. They would be able to make even better choice if they know how to pair wine with food. While pairing wine with food, one should consider the acidity, sweetness, weight, intensity and tannin of the wine, and analyze the texture, flavor, fat content, sweetness, saltiness of the food it is going to accompany. In general, white wines are more acidic than red wines, and they are available in light, medium and heavy styles with dry, medium and sweet taste. Red wines have more tannin, and most red wines undergo malolactic fermentation to soften its acidic level. They are available in light, medium and heavy styles with medium and dry taste. Food also have sweet, salt, sour, spicy and bitter taste with various textures. Some food have more of plant fat, whereas some are rich in animal fat. Now let us analyze these factors to know what wine will go well with what type of taste. Now we talk about acidity. Acidity, all wines have acidity of varying levels. Some are high acid wines and some are low acid wines. Food also has acidity. Food with noticeable acidic level needs wine with noticeable acidity. Otherwise, the taste of the food will dominate the taste of the wine and make it dull and lifeless. For example, lemon chicken needs a wine of higher acidity to accompany the dish than chicken with truffles. Tomato dishes need acidic wine and so do fish preparations. Fish dishes require acidic wine as they always need lemon either in their preparation or in their presentation. Other factor is tannin. Acidity in food does not go well with the tannin present in wine. Therefore, the acidic food should not be served with red wine. However, low tannin and light reds may be suggested if any guest wants to drink red wine with acidic food. Tannin does not go well with fish. For this reason, red wines are not recommended with fish. Tannin is perfect with red meat like lamb, mutton and beef, as it helps to cut the chewiness of the meat. Not all reds are rich in their tannin content. Some have low tannin which can be matched with the food according to their degree of tannin content. Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah wines are high in tannin which go well with the red meat. Pinot Noir and Gente, which are low tannin wines, may be suggested with fish served with sauce. The bitterness in wine is derived from tannin. Tannin contributes to the texture and the astringent taste. It enhances the body or weight of the wine. Tannins that are derived from the skins of the grapes during the fermentation and from oak during barrel aging react with proteins. When paired with dishes that are high in proteins and fats such as red meat and hard cheese, the tannins act on the proteins and make them softer. Tannic wines pair well with meat and protein foods. In the food where protein is absent, such as vegetables, the tannins highlight bitterness and a dry feel on the palate. Bitter tannic wines such as Barolo and Cabernet Sauvignon can overwhelm a lot of foods but can be softened by fatty foods with a lot of proteins such as hard cheese or meat. Other factor is texture. Foods and wines have a texture which can be felt when we taste them. Some foods are creamy or fatty in the mouth while others are very simple. For example, pâté de foie gras is richer in the mouth as compared to green salad. The texture of these dishes is very different. So is the texture of wines depending on the fermentation and aging techniques used. These textures must be considered while pairing the dishes and wines. A dry Chenin Blanc fermented in stainless steel will be light in texture. It evaporates quickly on the tongue compared to Chardonnay, which is fermented and matured in oak. from the alcoholic percentage and the glycerin content of the wines. One can sense from the mouth feel if the wine is heavier or lighter. Wines with 12.5% above alcoholic content are considered heavy, and ones above that percent above as light. Light textured dishes go well with lighter wines and heavy textured dishes with full bodied wines. The other factor is flavor. The flavors of the dishes and the wines must be considered while matching them. A heavy wine such as Spanish Rioja Reserve will dominate the light oyster as preparation, and a light wine such as Muscadet will be out of place when served with heavily flavored beef goulash. White wines are in general recommended with fish, as the white wines are lighter than the reds. Some dark and meaty textured fish such as tuna may be served with red wine. Other factor is fat. The food must be analyzed for its fat content. Fatty food can be served with acidic wine which counteracts the fattiness. A crisp acidic Sauvignon Blanc can be suggested with Sol Bonfame. The crisp acidity of the wine acts as contrast and cuts through the creaminess of the sauce and give a different sensational taste. Pâté de foie gras, a fatty food, may be suggested with sauternes. Roast duck with orange sauce can be suggested with German Spätlese. Tannin in red wine has the same influence of white wine. Other factor is sweetness. Sweetness of the wine must be matched with the sweetness of the dish. The desserts have different degree of sweetness and acidic level. Peaches are lower in acidity as compared to raspberry. Are preparation styles of these fruits and sweets must be considered while pairing the wine. Raspberry requires a lightweight, sharp, sweet wine if served plain, and if it is served with crust pastry or with cream, then the acidity of the fruit is softened and a wine of medium acidity may be suggested. Peaches may be served with richer sauternes and late harvested Rieslings from Germany. Sweet wines offered must be sweeter than the dish they are served with. Vintage Brut Champagne paired with wedding cake can make the wine taste tart and weak, while the cake will have of yours. In food pairings, sweetness also balances the spiciness. Sweet wine can be paired with foods of Asian cuisine. It can act as a contrast to the burning sensation caused by chilies and spices. It can bring out the mild sweetness in some foods and can also contrast with salt. For example, pairing salty Stilton cheese with a sweet port. Sweetness in a wine can balance tartness in food, especially when the food is sweet. Some dishes such as foie gras, duck, vegetable dishes, especially root vegetables, etc., are slightly sweet, and these dishes can be paired with slightly sweeter wine. Duck with orange salad needs acidic and sweet wine, such as German Riesling, Spätlese. For vegetable dishes, medium sweet rosé wines go well. There are various combinations. The combination of soup and wine. Good consomme, the meatier kind kids of meat soup, like thick oxtail, game or kidney soup, can accommodate any of the drier kinds of fortified wines. Creamy, buttery soups, especially those based on vegetables, and some fish soups and chowders are usually better without wine. They have a simplicity and charm that wine can do nothing for. The fortified wine for consomme should be dry or fairly dry, and for such soups, sherry would be recommended. Fino will do well provided the consomme is not assertively flavored. For example, a simple chicken consomme. For stronger flavors, it is no bad plan to choose something more stoutly flavored. Amontillado is probably the wine that will best please most people. Thicker soups like kidney or game need something that will not wilt in the face of their flavor. The two drier versions of Madeira are exactly right for this job. Dry, though they have a degree of sweetness that helps bring out all the flavor of a well-made meat soup, while the soup obliges in the same sort of way for the wine. Dry Madeira is probably the best wine for soups of this nature. Two other types of soups are good with wine, though usually one if the soup is at the center of the meal, at say a supper party. The first is minestrone, which with plenty of Parmesan cheese will match up splendidly with one of the lighter Italian reds like Bardolino. The other is Bouillabaisse, which is more of a soup-lapped main course than a straightforward soup. One would open a bottle of good medium dry white Bordeaux with such a dish, or else one of those fruity whites that come from the middle area of France. But a modest Riesling from almost anywhere in the world, provided it is well flavored, will do just as well. Choosing wine to complement soup is altogether optional. There is no need to go to any trouble and certainly no need to go to any expense to find a wine that will be at home with soup. Good soup can keep its own end up without wine, and it can benefit enormously from a dose of wine, or sometimes, and especially in the case of lobster soup or bisque de crevettes, for example, of brandy. Combination of hors d'oeuvres, egg dishes and wine. Again, wine is very much an optional extra in a standard run of hors d'oeuvre tray, as it is likely to have a fairly high proportion of vinegar or some other kind of dressing. Hence, these will be best left wineless. Similarly, eggs and wines have no great accord, though a good cheese omelette served with good bread is an exception. Grapefruit, if it is a starter, can have some kirsch poured into it, though there is a divided school of thought over whether this enhances or spoils it. Melon, so long as you eschew the powdered ginger that often comes with it, can have a most amiable relationship with white port. Prawn cocktails or any sort of fish or shellfish cocktails usually has a higher proportion of vinegar in the dressing, so that wine drunk with such concoctions will taste sour. The other combination can be of fish and wine. Sometimes fish comes as an appetizer, sometimes as a course between the starter and the main course, and at some other times as the main course itself. Wherever it falls, it usually calls for a dry or dryish white wine. There are some exceptions to this. Fresh or grilled salmon can get along famously with a demure red like young Beaujolais, while light fish dishes can be on the best terms with whites that have some sweetness about them. Fish dishes with a white sauce are especially responsive to this treatment. Most kinds of shellfish and smoked fish will be on uneasy terms with anything but the driest of whites. Plain shellfish needs plain wine like white burgundy, muscadet or Pouilly-Fume. Oysters are traditionally matched with Chablis and they cannot find a better partner. These, however, are not the right wines for shellfish, which has been wrapped in sauce such as lobster or thermidor. Choose for such dishes something that has a discernible degree of sweetness to it. Riesling is the grape to go for, and German wines are ideal. Moselles for the milder dishes and Hock for those that are some more assertive. For plain grilled or fried unsauced fish, either a dry or a medium dry white will see admirably. The rule of thumb assessment is to take a dry with an uncomplicated dish, such as plain grilled trout, and a more generous wine with something that has been prepared in a more lavish way, fried in butter. Wine can in fact get along very well indeed with fish in almost every form. A recipe that calls for tartar sauce, mayonnaise, mustard sauce or even horseradish relish will not necessarily quarrel with wine. But in such cases, it is best to avoid a costly, well-bred wine, for it will probably be wasted. Other combination of meat dishes and wine. There are, in essence, four broad categories of main course wines: light reds, of which Beaujolais and Bardolino are examples; middle to lightweight wines, of which Claret, Burgundy, and indeed most of the world output of reds are examples; dry whites, of which Graves and Saux are examples; and semi-dry whites by most kinds of Rhine and Moselle wines, and by most wines made from the Riesling grapes in any part of the world. Most people, of course, have set preferences and will stick by their preference through thick and thin. Thus, a claret fancier may dismiss Burgundy as unsubtle and will drink his claret with all kinds of pungently flavored dishes that convention would pair with Burgundy or Rhone, which have a reputation for being sturdy and full-bodied. Other combination can be of wine and cheese. There are no companions more amiable than wine and cheese. One should, however, stop short of choosing a special wine to serve with cheese. If a cheese course goes where it should most sensibly go, after the main course, but before the pudding, then one of its purposes is to project savory food beyond the main course. So provide an opportunity to finish that course's wine before moving on to a sweeter things. It is thus cheese that needs to accommodate wine rather than vice versa. Those that best complement wine, and red wine in particular, are mild varieties like Derby, Bel Paese and Edani. More tangy flavors also have a place, and examples are cheddar, double Gloucester and smoked cheese. Blue cheese and wine are by no means incompatible, but such cheese is likely to overwhelm even the most stout-hearted of reds. It follows then that blue cheese should never be the sole cheese of the board. Not all cheese is on speaking terms with wine. Camembert, Brie and various goat milk cheeses have mustiness, which is decidedly unfriendly towards wine. And in much the same category must go most of those cheeses flavored with such things as peppercorns, garlic or onions. They are all too pungent to be really agreeable with wine. This does not mean that all these varieties should be banished from the board. Instead, it is just that there should not be a preponderance of them in your selection. Other combination can be of sweet and wine. Sweet wine with sweet food is very much an optional extra, especially at the climax of a meal that has already featured rich dishes and two or more other wines. The common sense strategy is to serve a pudding wine only when there has been just one other wine during the meal. The bonus here is that by avoiding a spread of expenditure over 3 or 4 different wines, you can afford to buy 2 really good wines. The darkest of sweet flavors, Christmas pudding, sticky fruit tarts, need a darkly sweet fortified wine. Sweet Madeira is among the best value in this group of wines. Malaga is a less costly alternative. Port could have a place, but not good port and certainly not vintage port, which is too valuable to share a place with food of any kind. Most lightly flavored puddings can get along famously with the most famous of rich white table wines like Sauternes, Tokay or sweet champagne. Plain fresh fruit, notably ripe peaches, has a special accord with well-bred Sauternes. But not any kind of pudding that is not naturally more at home with fortified wine will be on good terms with any of these 3 outstanding wines. Some pudding recipes call for wine, usually the fortified ones. Obviously, there will be a discord if any other variety of sweet is served with such dishes. Nothing, for example, should be served with pears in red wine or brandied fruit. Sweet champagne, Tokay and the best kinds of Sauternes are all costly. However, all but Tokay have perfectly acceptable alternatives, though none of the alternatives has more than an echo of the honeyed depth of these great sweet wines. It is that quality which wine makers all over the world have tried to capture that puts a premium price on these famous wines. Now, I would like to conclude the topic. Today, there are various styles of wines are available in the market as compared to last 30 years ago. The growing consumption of wine continues day by day in new wine world countries such as India, USA, China, Australia, South Africa, Hungary, Switzerland, Argentina, New Zealand, Chile and Brazil. There is also an extensive range of dishes from traditional to fusion cuisines that are available. Today's consumers have become more adventurous and crave for a variety of dishes and tastes. With the availability of so many types of wines and dishes, it may appear easy to match the wine with the food, but it is not so easy as well. In fact, it is a challenging task. The food and wine world is changing at a faster rate, and so are the traditional rules. The traditional rules provide a workable framework and help in selecting and suggesting the wine for a good meal experience even in the present times. And that was all from my side. Thank you so much and have a great time ahead.